before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully y'all having a powerful Tuesday thus far, man. It's just a little check-in, man. We just checking in. I'm checking in on my people, checking in on the black people, original people of the planet Earth, making sure everybody is good mentally, man. This is a mental health check-in for black folks, man. So everybody tap in with the kid, man. Let me know how y'all doing. Let me know how y'all living, man. Mental health is very important. So we got to have this discussion every so often to make sure everybody is right and exact mentally, man, because a lot of things that's going on. We got to deal with a lot being the original people of the planet Earth, man. It's a lot that we got to deal with, man. So I already know how the mind can be corrupted. Montel, peace. What's the word? What's the word? Everything is peaceful my way. We all good, man. Ray Shine, peace. What's happening? Airview, peace. What's the word? Magic, peace. What's happening? Frankie, peace. What's the word? Everything is good my way, man. I'm just checking in on everybody else, making sure everybody else is good, man. We gotta have that mental health check-in. Gotta have it. Javon, peace. What's happening? Gotta have it, man. It's a lot of nonsense, man. It's a lot of nonsense going on out here. So from time to time, man, we gotta check in on one another. That's one thing that we gotta do. We gotta start doing more of that, especially us brothers, man. We gotta check in on one another, man, mentally. You know what I'm saying? Check in on another black man to see how you doing mentally, emotionally, and things along those lines, man. We got to check in with each other a lot more. A lot more. Akuma, peace, peace, what's happening? You say you feeling paradoxical. Clocks in, peace, what's happening? We definitely got to stay on our square for sure. CC, peace, what's happening? I don't know if you all are familiar with the brother in Baltimore that just snapped and killed the girlfriend that was pregnant, then shot the ex-wife, then shot himself. All while the kids was in the vehicle. I don't know if you all saw that. Nikki Peach Queen, what's happening? Shantae Peace, what's the word? Mark, there we go. Hey, gotta do what's necessary to protect the mental health. If that involves you quitting a job, I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to quit these jobs, man. Don't be afraid to do that. Andronicus, peace, what's the word? Dean, peace, what's happening, man? Everything is good, everything. Javon, yeah, hey, everything is good. But I tapped into that story, man. I brought that story up, man. That story had me thinking a lot about mental health. You know what I'm saying? And I say this all the time. I feel like most black people in the wilderness of North America, we are one trigger away. We are one bad situation away from snapping and losing it all. One trigger away. Because a lot of us deal with suppressed emotions. A lot of us deal with the discrimination, all the nonsense that goes on in corporate America. You know what I'm saying? Just being black in this society today, a lot of us, we have to deal with that trauma. And a lot of the trauma that was passed down from our ancestors that they didn't deal with. So it's a lot that we have to deal with as black people that was passed down. And the origin of a lot of this trauma started 400 plus years ago. And we haven't solved any of these conflicts, or we haven't resolved any of these conflicts. So a lot of black people in the wilderness of North America are dealing with a lot of trauma. You know what I'm saying? And we just one bad situation away from snapping, losing it all. Losing it all. And taking people down along with us. Charles, peace, what's happening? Yeah, Magic, man, it was crazy. Yeah, Shantae, they say the kids were in the vehicle when he shot and killed the ex-wife when he did the live video on Facebook. And it was crazy how calm the dude was just calm. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, I shot my ex-girlfriend in the head. You know what I'm saying? My ex-wife, she's next, and then I'm going to do myself. Like, man, dude was just calm with it. He was just calm with it. TZ, peace, what's happening? Like, dude was calm with it. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like it revolved around, like, the custody of the children. And they was making accusations saying that he was touching the babies out here. Like, it was some serious stuff going on with that situation. Now, there is no justification for what he did. I don't condone that at all. But it's like, man, you never know what's going on in the minds of people. So you gotta be mindful, man. When you start playing with people, man, you gotta be mindful that, hey, at any given time, a person is liable to snap. So that's all. That's why I'm always mindful in regards to how I interact with people, man, because you do not know. You do not know. You know what I'm saying? Part of knowledge is it's a know the ledge. Like when you break knowledge down, it's know the ledge. If you don't know the ledge of that person, like if you don't know how close they are to that ledge or to the end of that clip, like if you don't know how close they are to the ledge, you might want to be very mindful of how you deal with that person, because they could be right there at the end. And that nonsense that you decide to accuse them of, or the fight that you choose to pick with them that day, that could be enough to push them right off the edge, and they're going to bring you down with them. They're going to bring you down with them. Dale, peace. Appreciate that donation. Appreciate you, my brother. Be safe on that road, though. Frankie, yeah, them half breathing exercises definitely help with anxiety, man. But yeah, anxiety is real in the field, man. Anxiety is real in the field, and people don't really understand that. A lot of times, man, we just overlook these things, man. We really overlook some of these things that we deal with, especially in the black community, man. We write these things off, and we just don't take them seriously. And I feel like mental health is something that we do not take seriously enough. We sweep it under the rug. We sweep it under the rug. I feel like when you trace all of our families, you can find mental health problems in all of our families. Again, we black in America. Like, we gonna have traumatized individuals. We gonna have a lot of traumatized individuals in our families. It's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times we just don't deal with it how I feel like we should personally deal with it, man. We sweep it under the rug way more than we need to. Antoine, peace. What's happening? Charles, and that's exactly what happened. Leo Velli, peace. What's happening? Ray Shine, and that's what I'm saying. And I can speak from experience on a calm anger, because that would essentially be me. You know what I'm saying? So I always take a situation and apply it to myself. I always take a situation and apply it to myself. I've always dealt with temper problems, with anger, frustration. And I always been one of the ones when they say, oh, that's the silent one, that's the one you have to watch the most. Things along those lines. So it's like when I saw this dude snap like that and just lose it all, I had to analyze myself. I said, man, how close am I to that particular type of situation? And that's when I always go back to, I feel like we are all near that point to where we like one bad situation away from just snapping completely. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, man, we got to get back to the center. All the venting is cool. You know what I'm saying? Get stuff off your chest. Deal with the negativity. Deal with the depression when it comes. But make sure you always center yourself. Always go back to the center. Always neutralize that energy that's not necessarily productive. Always neutralize it by going back to the center. A lot of times, black people, we don't do that. We focus on the negative, we focus on the bad, and we stay there. Bring yourself back to the center. Bring yourself back to the center at all times. Like Frankie was talking about, when you're dealing with anxiety and you start doing breathing exercises, that's bringing yourself back to the center. Instead of overly focused on the anxiety, making it worse. Bring yourself back to the center. One of the best ways to bring yourself back to the center when you're dealing with anxiety is to breathe and focus on the breathing. So always bring yourself back to the center, man. You should always center yourself. Always center yourself, man. But I'm always doing the knowledge to a situation and applying it to myself. And I'm like, man, listen, I'm no different from that brother. The only difference is I haven't snapped to that point. I haven't lost it all. I haven't found that trigger that caused me to lose it all. You know what I'm saying? So I see myself in that brother, man. I just see the fact that I haven't snapped like that yet. So that's a reality check for me. When I see another brother going through a situation like that and he just snaps and he takes all these people down with him, I'm not going to judge him. You know what I'm saying? What he did was foul. But I see myself and I'm like, man, it ain't nothing stopping me from doing the same exact thing. So I got to make sure my mental health is on point. I gotta make sure my mental health is on point. That's the reality check for me. When I see another brother go through a situation like that and then they snap to the point where they can't handle it, I gotta analyze and assess myself like, man, listen, I'm capable of doing the same exact thing if I don't deal with my traumas. If I don't deal with these unresolved conflicts, I'm capable of causing the same type of damage. So forget all that judgment. I ain't got time for that. I take it and apply it to myself. Like if I don't deal with my traumas, if I don't make better decisions in my life, I'm capable of doing the same exact thing. And I'm speaking personally because I deal with anger, I deal with frustration, I deal with temper. So I got to make sure I'm making the proper decisions in life. I got to make sure I always go back to the center because if I don't, it's a problem. So I'm like, man, ain't nothing stopping me from doing that, man. It's just one trigger away. Somebody puts the wrong button on the wrong day, I'm capable of doing the same exact thing. I got to analyze that in myself in order for me to solve the problem. In order for me to fix the problem, I got to identify that there is a problem in the first place. You All right, we back in this thing, man. Got a phone call. That wasn't YouTube tripping. It was just phone call. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I gotta analyze the situation and I gotta tap into myself. Analyze the situation and tap into myself and realize like, man, I got a ways to go. I got a ways to go personally. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do. That's the reality check for me. When I saw dude lose it all, I'm like, hold on, man. Let me make sure my mental is good. Let me make sure my mental is good because like I said, man, the trauma is deeply rooted. That stems from over 400 plus years of mistreatment, discrimination, just unnecessary killings and things along those lines. We didn't have to deal with a lot. We didn't have to deal with a lot and we continue to deal with a lot. You know what I'm saying? So we all got a lot of unresolved conflicts. We all got a lot of trauma that we must deal with, man. So that's why healing is important. Healing is important, especially for us brothers, man, because for the most part, brothers don't feel like they have a safe space to go vent without being judged. So for us brothers, man, it is imperative for us to deal with the mental. It's imperative, man, because a lot of brothers feel like, man, I don't feel like I can go anywhere and vent without being judged. I know a lot of brothers that feel that way. That is very dangerous to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So we got to find a way to release. We got to find a way to go back to the center. We got to find a way to do all of these things. We got to find a way to express ourselves without fear of being judged. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to find better. We got to find outlets to express ourselves. Find a person that you trust. Find the activity that allows you to express yourself. Because brothers, man, brothers in the wilderness of North America, man, we dealing with a lot of pent up aggression and rage. And it's different. You know what I'm saying? When it's different. When a brother is dealing with the pent up rage and frustration, because y'all know just all y'all do is study history, testosterone. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with this pent up rage and frustration. One of our outlets is violence. So if we don't unleash, like we tend to get violent because that's the nature of man, to get physical, to get violent. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's very dangerous for that man to not deal with those emotions and deal with those feelings because we tend to get violent. We tend to get physical. Back when I was a kid, when I used to get angry, I used to want to punch a hole in a wall or something because that's the nature of man. That's the nature of being a man, being a young man. We want to get violent. You want to get physical. Hence why we drawn to sports like football, boxing, things along those lines. That's in our nature to want to do that type of stuff, man. That's an outlet for us. But it can get dangerous when we continue to suppress a lot of these emotions. Then that frustration and that anger and that physicality comes out on the wrong people. Leo Velli, yeah, martial arts. Hey, what they say, karate means empty hands. Hey, that karate is definitely perfect though. Like martial arts is definitely perfect. Definitely. Great outlet. Any of them really, you know what I'm saying? Martial arts, just boxing in general, weightlifting, all of those things are good outlets, man. But martial arts definitely because it helps with discipline. All of it essentially helps with discipline because In order, even if you working out, even if you weightlifting, in order for you to reach a goal, like you have to have structure. You know what I'm saying? So all of it helps with discipline. Discipline is very necessary, man. But martial arts definitely helps with like the mental discipline. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, martial arts is definitely something that I feel like we all need to be engaging in, man, or indulging in some form of martial arts. Lindell, peace, what's happening? Kuma for sure. I've definitely came a long way in regards to dealing with the anger, dealing with the temper. Definitely have came a long way. I definitely. Shout out to all the brothers that made progress in regards to dealing with the emotions, dealing with depression, dealing with anger, all of that. Ja King, peace, God, peace, what's happening? Clocks in for sure. And Shantae, that's I used to have a little punching bag. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the young boys, like we want to go get violent, we want to get physical. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to have like a positive outlet for us to get physical, get the punching bag. You get mad, go punch that punching bag. So that's definitely something that's positive. Leo Veli, yeah, jiu-jitsu, definitely. I was studying the Jeet Kune Do for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Bruce Lee joint. Our air view for sure, man. And we all got our crutch, you know what I'm saying? We all got something that we indulge in when we feel whatever it is you dealing with, whether it's anger, depression, anxiety. We all got something that we do when we feel it getting a little too real in the field. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some of those things are good, some of those things are bad, but we all have those little crutches, man. Things that we tend to gravitate towards when life starts getting a little too real. When like some people, especially on the black women's end, they eat a lot. Like a lot of women are emotional eaters. So when the anxiety gets real for them, and it's not all of them, but it's a lot of them. When the anxiety get real, depression get real, and some brothers can fit this description. A lot of people eat, and they tend to eat the wrong foods, and that's contributing to the disease, the illness, the imbalance. So a lot of people are emotional. A lot of people are emotional eaters. Ray, peace, what's happening? You say receive 5 stars on your tutoring class. Let's get it. Positive news right there. Frankie, you say, does a woman look at you as having weakness for having bad anxiety? Frankie, I would say it probably depends on the woman that you're dealing with. Like I said, some things it's hard for brothers to express because it is viewed as a weakness. But it depends on the woman, man. So a lot of women are understanding in regards to brothers dealing with anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Hey, a lot of us suffer from PTSD simply because of the things that's happening to us in America. I know I ain't the only one, man. A lot of times when I'm driving at night, I'm extra paranoid simply because I don't know if the car behind me is a cop or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I'm driving at night, I'm like, dang, man, I can't see these cars, man, that's behind me. And I feel like every car that's behind me is a cop. And I do not want to get pulled over at night because you never know what's gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So we dealing with PTSD off of the strength of just being black in America, man. I can't trust a car at nighttime if I can't see it. I feel like it's a cop, and I ain't trying to get pulled over at night because that's when things could get real in the field. You know, so I feel like it depends on the woman, Frankie. It's a lot of women that understand it. It's a lot of women that are understanding. It's some women out here that's not very understanding. Like me, for example. Like where I do not like going. It's just like y'all know how I feel about going into stores and things like that. Like I don't really care to go out in public. You know what I'm saying? So some people can view that as a weakness, whatever the case may be. Like I can do it, I just prefer not to. Like I just can't stand it. Like I just do not like dealing with large crowds of people. I just don't like dealing with it. I really don't care how people view that. You know what I'm saying? I've accepted that part of myself. If I need to do it, I can do it. I just don't like doing it. That's when the anxiety can get a little real in the field. Just traffic in general. just causes the anxiety to go crazy. Head is always on the swivel because I don't trust these people. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't like being in those environments. But if I have to, I can do it. I just got to give myself the prep talk before I go do it. Oh, Chris, for sure, man. It's a lot of areas around here that, you know what I'm saying, you got to stay out of them areas as a black man at nighttime. You know what I'm saying? But it don't even matter where I'm at. Like, I don't trust it. If I can't see, you know what I'm saying, if it's nighttime, I'm like, man, I think every car behind me is a cop car. That's PTSD. We can't drive comfortably at night, you know. Sean, peace, what's happening? You say mental health is important. Incident happened 45 minutes away from you. Anxiety and depression is tough to deal with, but you must have a healthy discipline to fight it for sure. That's for sure, man. Like, that situation was heavy, man. When I was looking at it, man, I just, like I said, I tapped into the live. And I'm like, man, this dude is just he's just calm. Like, yeah, man, I shot my girlfriend in the head. Ex-wife, she next. Then I'm going to do myself too. Then when the ex-wife came to the door, he was like, oh, there she go. You know what I'm saying? It's like this dude was chilling. You know what I'm saying? Was chilling. That's how you know you done reached that breaking point, man, when you just don't even care anymore. Like, dude was so numb to it, like, he just didn't even care. Like, he did what he did, and he didn't even care. Like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot her next, and then I'm gonna do myself. And dude did not care, and that's exactly what he did. Beach reincarnated. Peace, what's happening? Dean, social burnout, definitely. I suffer from that terribly. My social battery life is trash. Like, it's trash. It's trash. John King, that's what I'm saying. He said today is today, and it literally was the day. I was like, nah, man. I had to evaluate myself. I said, nah, listen, I don't want to go off the rails like that, man. I don't want to do that. Yeah, CC, for sure. And you know what I'm saying? A lot of times, I'm not even gonna lie, man. A lot of times I suffer from that. And it's some things too that's just like misunderstood in regards to that toughness. And that's why a lot of times it comes back to like knowledge of self. And when you have knowledge of self, doing your best to explain that to other people that you may be in a relationship with. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Like, I'm not a person that cries, like tears. So a lot of times people hear me say that and they'd be like thinking that I'm trying to be tough. It's like, no, I literally just don't cry. Like I view death, like a lot of times that always revolves around death. You know what I'm saying? People think that with certain people die in your life that you're supposed to cry. Well, I view death in a certain light to where it's like I never care to cry like at funerals and when people die. People look at that like, ah, man, you trying to be too tough. Like, nah, literally, I just don't cry because of the way I view death. You know what I'm saying? So there's other ways to grieve. And a lot of times when I would tell people that I don't cry, they look at that as me trying to be too tough. Like, nah, it ain't me trying to be too tough. I literally just don't cry. It's just something that I don't do. Like, I don't cry. Like, if I'm going to grieve, I'm going to do it in another way. But the way I view death, like, I just have a different perspective towards death to where it's like I don't feel the need to cry when people die most of the time. Like, I can't recall the last time I cried, especially at a funeral. It's just the way that I view things. Don't mean that I didn't care for the person. Don't mean that I didn't love the person. Don't mean that I'm not emotional. I just don't cry. So a lot of times people associate crying as being the only sign of showing emotion when somebody passes or something like that. Like, there are other ways to show emotion. You know, so a lot of times people hear me talk about not crying and they associate that with a man trying to be too tough. Like, nah, I just really don't cry. Like, that's just not an outlet for me. I may do something else. I may write or something. That's my form of crying, so to speak. But as far as tears, like, that doesn't do anything for me. Therefore, I just don't do it. Thunder, peace, what's happening? Let me get to some of these questions here. Thunder, man, yeah, it's serious. It's real in the field. It's real in the field. Mark, you say I can't cry. Are you sure you not repressing emotions? Nah, man, I'm not necessarily repressing emotions because, like I said, I tend to tap into them another way. Like I write, but crying is just like it just doesn't it just doesn't do anything for me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like once I cry, like I still feel the same way. So the best way for me to do things is to just jot things down so I can analyze my feelings. Like crying doesn't necessarily do anything for me. That's why I just don't feel the need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, when my granny passed, that was like one of the saddest funerals you could have ever witnessed. I did not shed a tear. Wasn't because I didn't care for my granny. It was just crying doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to grieve in another way. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to reflect on the memories. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna write some things down. Because again, at the end of the day, the way I view death, like what they say about energy can't be created nor destroyed. It just changes forms. So in order for new life to be born, somebody has to die. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just keeping the cycle of life going. So I don't necessarily feel any type of way about death. Death is the only thing that's guaranteed, and it's gonna happen to us all. You know what I'm saying? So when it happens, it was that person's time, and that's just continue. That's keeping life flowing, man. It's keeping life flowing. That energy just transformed, return back into the essence. That's what we call it. Going back into the universe. Everything that you are made of literally exists in this universe. So literally your particles are going back into the universe to keep life circulating, to keep life going. So death is not necessarily a bad thing to me. Your particles just go, all the atoms, protons, electrons, it's just going back into the universe to keep life moving, keep life circulating. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't necessarily saddened about that. It's a beautiful thing when you really think about it. Now, the way that you may have passed or died could have been tragic, but at the end of the day, like I said, I view death in that light. Return back to the essence. Them particles going back into the universe, man. So that's one of the reasons when I tap into it like that, like I'm really not sad. You know what I'm saying? Really not sad. Or I may just, you know what I'm saying? I may just jot some things down. The wife is in the building. Y'all say peace to the wife. All right, every sure. Hey, crying is cool. Like I said, if you cry, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying personally, I just don't do it. It ain't even that I can't do it. It's just I don't do it. It's just like I just don't cry. Like it's not an outlet for me. Like I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna do something else for sure. Which could be considered my form of crying. Like if I'm writing things down, that could be my form of crying, like expressing myself or grieving, so to speak. Lindell, you say, young brother asked me, why do most whites have more than most blacks and are more financially stable? Oh, that's a simple answer there. Simple answer there in regards to like all you got to do is look at who created this system that we are that like this system. They created this whole entire system. That's why they have more because they created the system. The system going to benefit them more than it's going to benefit us because they created the system. They created the system. They brought a lot of our ancestors over here against our will, and they created a system in which that system favors them and favors people that look like them. And and that system, in order for that system to properly work, properly function, we have to be at the bottom. So yeah, that's simple. And then what's the second part of the question there, Lindell? I said they gain from slavery and money seems to get you better schooling and education. Any advice? Lindell, now any advice for what? Like what type of advice we looking to give the young brother? Because the advice that I would give, like I said, we got to continue to come together and focus on creating our own systems and stop depending on them. Antoine, for sure. We got to have the safe places for us to vent, you know what I'm saying, and air it out, you know what I'm saying? We got to have that space. Mr. Barbados, peace, what's happening? Mark, definitely write them joints down. Definitely write them down. Clocks in for sure. Meditation is definitely peace when something happens. And that's all it's about, man. Like that's like I said, man, just the way I view life in general. Like when death happens, man, it really doesn't faze me, man, because I understand that that's one of the only things that's guaranteed to us. It's the way that the person probably went out that can be the sad part, which I get. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know how we gonna go out. You know what I'm saying? We just know that we all gonna go, but we don't know the way in which we gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to just cope with it simply because of the way I view death, man. Nothing is permanent. I really embrace the art of detachment. You know what I'm saying? The art of detachment lets me know that whatever happens, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens, I'm good. That's the art of detachment. So I really embrace the art of detachment, man. And that's how I'm able to navigate through life and deal with challenging circumstances and not lose, you know what I'm saying, and not go off the rails and things like that. MC, peace, peace. What's happening? Appreciate that. Air view, that's 100% right and exact. And women may or may not know that. Women may or may not know that they have a very large impact on on men's emotional health and mental health. And it's also vice versa. You know what I'm saying? But we know the vice versa part. That's talked about a lot. But hey, women may or may not know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell women all the time when I would see goofy things like bragging about getting on your man's nerves, like don't do that. Like I said, a lot of us brothers, we one trigger away from snapping and losing it all. So the last thing we need is for you to think it's like funny to get on our nerves. Like notice, I get on his last nerve. Like it's some truth in the joke. So when you joke about getting on his last nerve, you might want to watch what you're saying. Last nerve, that is important. If you think you getting on that brother's last nerve, then when he flips out, don't be surprised because you acknowledging the fact that you know you getting on his last nerve. So you got to be mindful, man. Be mindful of the emotional health and the mental health of the person that you're dealing with. You gotta be mindful. You gotta be mindful, man. It ain't nothing to brag about getting on somebody's last nerves. The brother that went off and killed the two women, that was his last nerve. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful when dealing with people that's on their last nerve. You don't want to aggravate that person because once you aggravate that person, now they are irrational. So they about to do something irrational like shoot you in the head and then go find the ex-wife and shoot her in the head. It's irrational. Try not to get on that person's last nerve. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a sticky situation, man, because I know a lot of people that feel like that's cool. That spices up the relationship to be arguing. Like, listen, you might catch that man on the wrong day to where arguing ain't what he trying to do, especially at his home. You catch him on that wrong day, man, it's liable to go down. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be mindful. We got to be mindful. Ja King, you say, hold on. You say build a little more on detachment. Man, to me, detachment, and this is when I was studying Buddhism. I mean, I still pick up a book from time to time on Buddhism. And it was just as simple as I explained it. That's how I read it. And the moment I read it, I was like, man, I'm about to apply this to my life. Detachment is simple. You know what I'm saying? They basically tell you the root to all suffering is attachment. So when you look at all the things that you suffer from, all the things that cause you to suffer, I guarantee you, when you break it down and get to the origin, it's gonna stem from you being attached to a person, a circumstance, an expectation, whatever it is. I guarantee the root of that suffering is attachment, and that's what the Buddhists talk about. The root of all suffering, cause of all suffering, attachment. So you gotta learn how to detach. Detach is not telling you to be heartless. Detachment is saying, let's look at a relationship. When people say, I feel like I can't live without that person, I said, that's dangerous. That's dangerous to have that type of mentality. I know personally a person that lived by that. Then when they person died, they did not live too far long after that. So I said, man, that I don't agree with that perspective to feel like I can't live without somebody. Detachment is saying, if you in my life, cool. If you're not in my life, still cool. I'm going to be good regardless. I'm going to be me regardless. That's what detachment is. If you going on an interview for a job, detachment is like, all right, if I get this job, cool. If I don't get this job, ain't the end of the world. I'm going to still manifest some powerful things regardless. That's the art of detachment. Knowing and understanding, no matter the circumstance or the outcome, I'm going to be good. I'm going to keep it pushing. I'm going to keep it moving. That's the art of detachment. No matter your circumstances, you going to keep it pushing. You going to be good. Life goes on. That's the art of detachment. Once I learned that art and that science, I was like, I need to apply that to life. I need to apply that to life. But a lot of times people misunderstand it. People definitely misunderstand what detachment means. People say, detachment. I shouldn't set no goals, things along those lines. That's what you telling me? That's not what I'm telling you. You can set your goals, but detachment is telling you, hey, if things don't go as planned, don't get emotional, don't get in your feelings. Adapt and adjust. That's all detachment is telling you. A lot of times, people look at the goals that they set and they feel like if everything don't go according to plan, that they'd have failed in life. Detachment is saying, oh, okay, I set this goal, but I had to take a detour because things didn't go as planned. But we're going to be good regardless. We just going to adapt and adjust to our new circumstances. And we're going to set new goals. That's all detachment is telling you. Detachment is not telling you don't set goals and things like that. It's just telling you no matter the outcome, and if you have to take a detour, it's all good. It's all good. Adapt and adjust. As we say, be swift and changeable. You know what I'm saying? So that's all detachment is telling you. That's all detachment is about. Like detachment is a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It makes life a lot easier to deal with. Because like I said, no matter what happens, we good. No matter what happens, we good. Life goes on. Because again, life goes on. It has to go on. The moment you attach yourself to it, like life might not go on for you. Like that brother like the brother that we talking about in Baltimore. He was attached to too many things. So therefore life couldn't go on for that brother. He wasn't able to realize like no matter what happens in my life, is life gonna go on, I'm good. He couldn't reach that point. He was like, man, they done got me to this point, man. Life, I can't continue on. I can't continue on. Oh, Father John, you already know, man. You already know. Knowing your culture, man. Knowing your culture. It's freedom. And I feel like that culture detachment is a part of that. Tierra, peace. What's happening? Frankie, you say, how do you master the art of detachment? Just like you master anything, put your hours in. Put your hours in, man. You just got to implement it. It ain't going to be perfect. You ain't just going to wake up one night and then you just totally detach from everything. You got to start with small things. You got to start with small things, man. It's just small things. I would have to literally break down your life and tell you what small things to start with and just learn to detach from these small things, man. But it's small things, man. Just learning how to adapt and adjust, man. And then realizing the only thing that you control is your perspective. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, or perception. At the end of the day, your perception is your power. So just analyze a day on a daily basis. Like life is not gonna go your way the entire day. So part of detachment is like on a day-to-day basis when those things don't go your way during the day, being able to adapt and adjust or perceive it in a different way and not letting that affect you. Because you're going to have something that happens right now today that's not going to be in your favor, that you're not too fond of. Detachment is saying, okay, yeah, that happened, but we survived it, moving on. So it's moving on rather quickly from the things that you're not too fond of. Instead of like stopping and overly focusing on it. Like, dang, man, I can't believe such and such did that. Detachment is saying, okay, they did it, but keyword, they did it, past tense, moving on. And another way to focus on mastering detachment is focusing on the here and now, embracing the moment. That's also a good way to master detachment. Again, when you study in Buddhism, that's one of the ways they tell you to master it outside of meditation. They tell you to focus on the here and now because that's the only thing that you have. The past was in the past, future ain't here yet. All you have is the here and now. So one of the ways to master detachment is just focus on the present, embrace the present. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on this phone right now, embrace the fact that I'm on this phone and I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? Embrace the fact that I'm breathing. Embrace the fact that embrace the fact that I got on this hoodie. Like some people may not be able to afford this hoodie. Just embrace everything, every aspect of your life right now. Just look around you. Look around wherever you at right now. Just look around you and embrace, show gratitude towards everything that is in your presence right now. You know what I'm saying? That helps. That helps. Terenzo, my brother, peace. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? We got to deal with just neutralization. You know what I'm saying? The moment you start finding yourself going back again, another thing too, knowing, understand that again, emotions and feelings fluctuate. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. Like when you have those feelings that you're not too fond of, it's all good. But if you let everything run its course, guess what? Your body strives for balance. Even when you're dealing with like pH levels, your body is not overly alkaline. That could actually be destructive. Just the same as if your body was overly acidic. Your body got to be right in the middle, like 7.4. So your body deals with homeostasis, which is being balanced. You know what I'm saying? So that's life. Like your body wants to be in a balanced state. So you just let everything run its course. Let everything flow. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Like when these negative feelings pop up, we stop them. Don't do that. Let it run its course. Let everything run its course. Because if you do that, the body naturally strives for balance. The body is going to naturally center itself. You just got to allow it to run its course. You got to allow it to run its course, man. Like that's another thing that is very helpful. Allowing emotions to run their course. Allow them to run, just run its course, man. Again, whatever negative thought you have right now, I guarantee you it's not going to last long. An hour from now, if you let it run its course, man, 30 minutes from now, like that thought may be gone. You're going to be on to something else. Walker, peace, what's happening? 4J, peace, what's the word? So, you know what I'm saying? Stop stopping those emotions and the feelings. Let them flow. Let them flow. Like, I can't stress that enough. Just let them flow. Let them flow. Stop thinking it's bad to feel bad. You know what I'm saying? That's normal and that's natural. So don't label the feeling. Don't place a label on the feeling. Don't place a label on it. You know what I'm saying? Just let yourself feel how you feel. Let yourself feel how you feel, man, because the body, again, it's going to naturally balance itself out because that's the natural state of the body. And again, you know what I'm saying? I mastered all of this. I learned all this from studying just Buddhism. A lot of that came from just Buddhism, just studying Buddhists. You know what I'm saying? I was studying Buddhism hard, along with like other philosophies. But they was talking a lot about that, man, just letting your emotions flow, come and go. Don't stop. The moment you stop it, place a label on it, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes a problem. And you stop it and be like, dang, this is a bad thought. Then now you feel bad for having the thought, and now you feel like something is wrong with you. Now here we got a whole entire problem. Now you feel like something is wrong with you because you didn't have this thought, when really it's a normal and natural thought. You just got to let it run its course, and it's not going to last that long. It's not permanent. But the moment you stop it and say, dang, this is a bad thought. I'm bad for having this thought. Therefore, something is wrong with me. There's a problem. And then we start creating problems where there really isn't one. See what you say. I think the issue can be when you're overwhelmed with no support system or network. We need support from trustworthy people, for sure. For sure, like the support system, it's all bad because we stem from a culture that deals with are supposed to deal with the village mentality. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors, like the village mentality, that stems from us. So that's how we supposed to live. So I feel like black people, we naturally seek the village, aka the support system, because that's the way our ancestors came up. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like naturally as black people, we seeking that village mentality, we seeking that support system, because that's how we are by nature. You know what I'm saying? Like that's natural for us to have that village supporting us. But nowadays we done been so traumatized and corrupted, everybody is fending for themselves. So the support out here is a little trash. So unfortunately, it's hard to rely on these support systems because we done been so traumatized and corrupted. So a lot of times we got to master these things with a very small support group or no support group at all. Unfortunately, because a lot of us have been traumatized and corrupted, and everybody just fending for themselves out here. A lot of times people don't really care about you. They care about what you can do for them. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be mindful in regards to who you are receiving the support from, because they may have ulterior motives, unfortunately. Yeah, Mark, and that's essentially what I was alluding to. Village is destroyed. Village is gone. You know what I'm saying? If you are fortunate enough to be in an environment where there is still a semi-village, then that is definitely peace. But nowadays, man, the village, we out for ourselves, man. We dealing with nature. Hey, self-preservation is what we on. Like every man for himself, every woman for herself out here. That's the mentality out here. That's the mentality out here, and it's sad because naturally, like I said, as black people, we deal with the village. We deal with the village, man, but now we done been westernized. So now we living like them. We living like the oppressor. That's their way of life. They didn't come from this village mentality like we did. You know what I'm saying? That was us. That was our mentality. That was our culture. That was our way of life. That's what led to our freedom. Being able to trust the whole entire village. You know what I'm saying? You able to send your kid out and you ain't got to worry about something happening to the baby because you trust the whole entire village is going to look out for this baby. Can't do that these days. You afraid to have your child walk up the street by themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's the unfortunate reality. Yeah, Airview, man, you know what I'm saying? In the black community, they can't wait for you to turn 18 so they can kick you out. You know what I'm saying? And have you live like a lot of other cultures don't do that. Matter of fact, I was studying this black economics book, and they was talking about one of the solutions to our economic position, and they was talking about what other cultures would do when they are trying to generate generational wealth. And they was just talking about uh, taking all the people that's in the family that's paying rent and having them live under one roof. Instead of paying all these different rents, instead of all them living in these apartments and these homes, they'll find one crib and they'll all come together. If they got a common objective and a common goal, they will all come together, condense the rent. Now we paying one rent, one mortgage. And the money that we was all spending on these rents, we gonna save that money and we gonna invest that money. And we gonna buy up land, we gonna buy up businesses. Like that's one of the practices they said to implement when you trying to generate the generational wealth. You got all these people that's paying rent in the family, and they was like, nah, we gonna all live together, and we gonna save this money, we gonna invest this money. Man, Static saying, I believe the book is called Black Economics by Jawanza Kunjufu. I believe that's the name of the book. It's an older book, man. That book was written like in the 1980s. But man, just think about all the people in your family right now, the close relatives that have jobs, meaning they are getting bi-weekly paychecks, monthly paychecks, and they paying some type of rent. Think about the average rent cost where you at. Just think about what's the average rent where you are at. And just think about how many people in your family may be paying that average rent. And then if y'all came together and lived under one roof, how much money could be saved and invested into buying up businesses, buying up property, buying up land. But see, we not thinking like that. We ready to get people out the crib. Just think about it. Just think about it. Just do the knowledge. Tell me what's the average rent where you are at. And just think about if you have 4 or 5 people in your family that's eligible to pay that type of rent, but instead of paying it, we going to save it. And we going to pay one rent, one mortgage, whatever the case may be. Just think about that. Cherry, one of the reasons why we can't do that because we've been conditioned to hate each other. You know what I'm saying? We get on each other's nerves. It's self-hatred. So we can't wait to kick these kids out the house, man. It's self-hatred, man. It's programming. It's programming. We done been disconnected from our roots. We done been disconnected from our roots, man. It's self-hatred at its finest. You're not supposed to send your child out there in the world to where they set up to fail. Dean, what you say? I feel super alienated and isolated. And again, perception, alienated and isolated. When you stop those things and when you think about them, when you stop those things and you think about them, alienation and isolation are not necessarily good or bad. We have been programmed to think that those things are good or bad. Cherry cheesecake, when you study all other forms of slavery, it has been well documented that no other group of people had to endure what our ancestors did in regards to everything that was stripped from us, from our culture, our language, our heritage, etc., etc. When you have other cultures that come over here, they still speak their native language. They still have their same traditions for the most part. Not us. We are speaking an entirely different language. We are nowhere near close to our original culture. You cannot say that for most other groups. It's well documented though. That's well documented though. When you start studying slavery, they have documented that no other group had to experience what we had to experience as far as everything that was stripped from us. No other group. When you start studying other groups of people that was enslaved, you're gonna start seeing they still have a lot of their traditions, their customs, their culture, their language. How many black people in America speak in any form of African language? And that's part of the self-hatred too, when the kids can't wait to get away from the situation because it's too toxic. Self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? Because then at that point, you dealing with parents that don't love themselves. Self-hatred. So then when you in that type of environment as a child, you can't wait to get away from it because your parents don't love themselves, and like you can't stand to see that, you can't stand to be around that. You know what I'm saying? So it's that self-hatred. It's that deep conditioning. More than likely, if you are in a situation that's toxic, it's probably toxic because of the self-hatred, because of the things we have been conditioned to gravitate towards that's not good for us. Yeah, Mark for sure. Yeah, man. A lot of times, and people don't understand most of the other forms of slavery. You dealing with prisoners of war. A lot of times, man. Like I said, and a lot of times it was indentured servitude too. They was on a contract. You know what I'm saying? They was going to enslave them for 20 years and then let them go back. We were not under any contract. We were not under any type of contract. Yeah, we back in this thing. I know it probably froze up for a minute. Yeah, air view for sure. You say some parents can't parent, and that's the thing too. That's the thing too. Like just because people have children don't necessarily mean that they can parent. Don't necessarily mean that they will ever turn out to be decent parents. Like you know what I'm saying? Like having a child don't necessarily mean much in regards to parenting. You know what I'm saying? And people, we got to realize that too. Some people just good for having kids and that's it. Like that's literally it. That is literally it. Chaos Rain. I gotta tap into that. I gotta read that joint. I gotta read that joint. Cherry Cheesecake, I would definitely disagree that we are the most privileged. Definitely would disagree with that, man. Definitely would disagree. Definitely would disagree. Like I said, you're not gonna find another people that's as lost as black people in the wilderness of North America. You're just not gonna find another group of people that's this lost. You're not gonna be able to find it. And again, this is documented, man. It's a lot of books. The book I just read is a good book, Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Joyce DeGrasse. And I got this other book that I'm reading right now, Stamped from the Beginning. Matter of fact, let me grab that joint. Like this book right here. Get this book, man. This book is definitely peace, and it will explain a lot. Stamped from the Beginning. This is a good book. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna drop the jewels on you. It would drop the jewels on you, man. That's a very, very good book, man. You know what I'm saying? I just started it, man, but from what I've read so far, man, it's peace. I'll be finished with the book in no time. But Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome is a powerful, powerful read. And it's a lot of other books I could recommend, but that's the book I just read. This is the book I'm currently reading, and it's all related to what it is that we are discussing in regards to why I say the things that I say. But it's a real situation out here, man. You dealing with a very lost group of people, and every other culture understands that, which is why every other culture preys on us. When you got the Asians, when they come here and they set up shop, where do they set up shop at? Where do the Asians put their businesses? A lot of them put them in the black community. They feed us the fried rice because they know and understand we lost. You got the Arabs, they set up shop. Where do they go? Where do they go? They know how long. Man, I've had conversations with people from these other cultures, and this is literally what they are telling me. When I worked at the bank, Arab brothers was owning the beauty supply stores all in the black neighborhoods, and I was having conversations with him, and that is what he was like, man. He was like, these black women ain't gonna stop buying these weaves. These black women ain't gonna stop buying these, like, they not gonna stop buying this stuff. So they already knew what was up. They knew what they were doing. They knew how lost we were. Every other culture knows and understand that. That's why they prey on us. So again, you're not dealing with a people as lost as us. And you can find periods of time where you had Arab slaves, Asian slaves. But look how connected to their culture that they are. And they come here, and who do they prey on? They prey on us. They prey on the most lost people on the planet. It's us. And everybody takes advantage of that. Everybody takes advantage of that. Cherry Cheesecake, how in the world is being in America a privilege when we were forced to be over here against our will? How is that a privilege? How is it a privilege how is it a privilege for us to be here when our ancestors was forced over here against our will? Please tell me how that's a privilege. When it comes to no. Nobody. To say it's a privilege is to disrespect how our ancestors was living before we got over here. We had glorious cultures all across the planet. So no, I'm not gonna say it's a privilege being here because we had powerful nations across the planet. You know what I'm saying? So no, it's not a privilege to be here. I'm not gonna say America is the best place on earth to be. No. That's what they want you to think. But I definitely disagree with that. It's a privilege being here, man. Look how, no, definitely don't agree with that. Ray Sean, man, I'm telling you that I can't stand it. I can't stand it, man. I can't stand when I see that. But me having those personal conversations with people made me really realize the truth. I was like, man, these cats really know what they doing. Like they really intentionally coming over here, setting up shop on a certain part of town to benefit from the people or off the people. Literally, like this is what dude said to me. He was like, man, he was like, these black women go crazy over the stuff in the beauty supply store. And he was like, it ain't gonna stop. Just right to my face. Right to my face. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yep. And what do we continue to do? What do a lot of our sisters continue to do? They continue to go right into the beauty supply store. They continue to go right over there. So it's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? They know what they doing, and then we fall right into their hands. Like we go according to the plan. So we gotta do way better. We gotta do way better in regards to everybody else understanding our potential, understanding our power. We gotta do better just understanding our own power. We got to do better understanding the power of the black dollar ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Making sure it's circulating amongst one another. King me for sure. All of that. All of that. But then we'd be the first ones to put a black business on blast that don't necessarily have the best customer service, which is cool. But make sure you keep that same energy for all other businesses that have trash customer service. Because I didn't receive bad services from all places. Air view. Yeah, I'm saying I wasn't even gonna get into that when we say everybody doesn't have running water. Some of us have running water that we think is clean, but it's killing us. How about that one? Like how about that one? You know what I'm saying? We got running water, and that water is filled with a bunch of poison chemicals. Nias, peace. What's happening? But man, we just gotta do better, man, in regards to being self-sufficient and just doing for ourselves, man. Just do better. Quick to criticize our own, but afraid to criticize somebody else. Like, we got to stop being soft when it comes to other coaches, other groups. Like, if they mistreat you, then let them know. Let the world know that too. Let the world know that too. Put that other business on blast that's non-black. You know what I'm saying? That treated you bad, that discriminated against you, that messed up your order. You know what I'm saying? You'll go somewhere where it's predominantly black workers and your order get messed up and everybody ready to put them on blast. See, this is why I own food with black people, et cetera, et cetera. Go somewhere else and they mess up your order. You ain't saying that. You ain't on Facebook saying that. I see that all the time. I see that all the time, man. People will go somewhere where it's predominantly black workers. Somebody mess up the order and they see this why I don't go to this why I don't food that's why I don't food with black people. This why I don't go where black people be at, this, that, and the third. Then they go to white side of town, order get messed up and they ain't saying nothing. They ain't saying nothing. They gonna be respectful when they walk up in that place. They gonna act a fool when it's one of their own, you know what I'm saying, messing up. But when it's somebody else messing up, they gonna go in there with some respect, huh? They ain't gonna put them on blast. They ain't gonna leave them a bad review on Yelp or none of that. They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna try to sabotage that business. Kuma, it ain't necessarily even about not focusing on the negative. Just don't even label it. You know what I'm saying? Let that thought, let whatever it is that you feel is negative, let it come and then it's gonna go. Like, let's just let it flow. Like, literally, it's that simple. Don't even forget the negative and the positive. Because whatever it is that you feel like is negative, I guarantee you it's a positive side as well to it. You know what I'm saying? So everything has that duality. It's all about your perception. So I don't feel like anything in life is just like completely one dimensional, man. We all got a best part that we can take from any and everything. Even a situation where you feel like, man, it's a total tragedy. I guarantee you it's a lesson to be learned from it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to even label the emotion. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to call this emotion negative or positive. I'm just gonna let it be what it is. Denise would say, the family structure should have every able body on deck, adding and contributing to the level up. But the fact is, most of the time, is one or two holding together like glue, and the rest toxicity for sure. Like I said, the village has been destroyed. So it's like it's a monster trying to get that mentality back. But that's essentially what we should be striving for. But that toxicity stems from like the mental health. So that's why I say we got to make sure the mental is right and exact amongst our people, man. I feel like we got to start dealing with mental health when the babies are like early on. Because the mental health is important, man. The mental health is important. All right, you already know. You already know. Definitely play both sides. You know what I'm saying? Stockholm syndrome. Some people love the oppressor too much to let them go. Stockholm syndrome. Y'all know what it is. Mark, for sure, what you say, to be honest, it's getting hard to stay uplifted with all the different things happening and attacks from all sides, for sure. But that's a part of life, though. You know what I'm saying? Life is not, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just all easy. You're going to have some obstacles, some tribulations. Embrace them joints. What they say, embrace the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Embrace the trials and tribulations, man. That's a part of life. That's building that character, man. So it's good. It's natural. It's normal. Yeah, for sure, man. Let it be. Man, I'm telling you, man, when y'all, again, it ain't gonna happen overnight. But when you finally, when it finally clicks and you finally get it, when you just able to let things be and let things flow, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is it. Internet Peace Queen, what's happening? Denise, that's exactly why I say I'm always mindful. Like I said, part of knowledge, when you break knowledge down, is to know the ledge. And you don't know where people are at on the ledge. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with people that you don't know where they're at on the ledge. They could be one step away from falling off that joint. So when I know and understand that I don't know the ledge of this person that I'm dealing with, I'm mindful. I'm only gonna speak positivity in life around this person because I don't know the ledge. I don't know where they at on the ledge. I don't know how close they are to falling off that ledge, to falling off that cliff. So when I don't know these things, I'm kind of cautious in the words that I speak around this person because I don't want my statement to be the statement that push them off the ledge and now we got a situation. Mellow Bob, PTSD for sure. A lot of black people deal with PTSD. Joy DeGride, the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, she would call it PTSS. You know what I'm saying? But we all suffering from that. You know what I'm saying? We all suffering from that. Point blank, period. Like I said, a lot of the trauma that we face, this trauma was instilled in us at birth because the people before us didn't deal with their trauma. So they got to pass it down. That's energy. Energy ain't created nor destroyed. So if your parents didn't deal with a trauma, they're going to pass it down to you. If their parents didn't deal with a trauma, they got to pass it down. That energy ain't getting destroyed out here. It's getting transformed. It's getting passed down. So we got to learn to deal with these situations and resolve these conflicts so we can pass down better energy, pass down better vibes. Man, Denise, we gonna go as far back as we have to. We were enslaved here for over 400 plus years, so I'm gonna go back to there. I'm gonna go back to that. As long as people ain't dealing with trauma, it's being passed down in some way, shape, or form. It's being passed down. Like I said, if a generation before you didn't deal with something, passed down. It's gonna be passed down until people deal with it. So we talking over 400 plus years of trauma being passed down, bad habits being passed down, disease, all that type of stuff. Like this is the type of stuff is being passed down because we're not dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they talk about, breaking these generational curses. Like that's just the trauma that's being passed down that we must learn to deal with in order to break the cycle, break the curse. But a lot of times we don't deal with it, and therefore now our kids are suffering before they even are brought into existence. Because at the end of the day, none of us asked to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep it real. We ain't asked to be here. You know what I'm saying? We were brought into existence, every last one of us. And we were brought into existence under circumstances that we didn't control, that we couldn't control when we was born. We couldn't decide when we wanted to be born. We couldn't decide what circumstances we wanted to be born under. We was all born into a set of circumstances that we didn't have control over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is what it is. Now we got to adapt and adjust. We got to learn how to cope with these circumstances that we was born under. Some people can adapt and adjust, some people can't. You know what I'm saying? And that's life. Like that's life in and of itself, man. Just learning how to adapt and adjust. Like I said, some of us can adapt and adjust. Some of us are swift and changeable. Others are not. Like others are not. And life gets the best of them. Internet for sure. Past that is it, literally. You know what I'm saying? If we gonna utilize that and say energy can't be created nor destroyed, we gotta understand that when it comes to trauma. If I don't deal with my traumas in my lifetime, then that means my children gotta suffer from that because I didn't deal with my trauma. I'm gonna pass that down to them in a lot of different forms. So you gotta deal with your trauma, man. You gotta be selfless at a point and learn how to do some self-healing so the future generation don't have to suffer from that joint. You know what I'm saying? So that it starts with us. It starts with you. Yeah, Denise, that's what you say. No loyalty out here, or dignity, or self-respect. The self-respect is definitely lacking. Definitely lacking. Definitely lacking, man. The self-respect, which again goes to the self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? If you love yourself, you're gonna respect yourself. You don't love yourself, you don't respect yourself, and you don't respect the people that look like you. And now we have a ton of problems on our hands. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we are dealing with as a people, man. We dealing with a lot as a people. That's why I did this stream, man, because we gotta check in on one another. You know what I'm saying? There's enough content out here that's adding to the division, but it's not enough content out here that's striving to unify, striving to see how we feeling out here. You know what I'm saying? How many platforms out here just checking in on y'all? Like, how y'all feeling out here? You know what I'm saying? The people that's tapped in, the people that's watching content creators. How many of these content creators actually care about how y'all feeling out here mentally? You know what I'm saying? How many of these content creators actually are concerned about y'all mental health? Not many of them. Most of them are concerned about